Joining me now is Riley Corcoran, voice of the Griz. Riley, you have been in Missoula since 2016. How does this year's team compare to those of years past?
When you take a look at Montana's schedule this year compared to last year, they weren't really tested until they lost that game to Northern Arizona. Then we saw a different team. This year, they were tested mightily in the non-conference, and that got them ready to go for Big Sky play. Lost maybe a couple games they shouldn't have or didn't think they should have at the time, but now their backs are up against the wall.
Montana, Montana State, and UC Davis still all have to play each other, so it's going to be a wild finish in the Big Sky. What impact will those matchups have on the final playoff picture, do you think?
Oh, they'll be huge from a national landscape, Megan. They really will. We know that there has not been a two-loss champion in the league in 19 years. So the likelihood that it's going to be someone outside the top three is slim. Those games when they play each other will be massive from a seeding standpoint. And we know how hard it is to win on the road in the playoffs, and to win on the road in consecutive games, even more difficult. So getting those coveted home games will be important. And I think obviously Montana State right now in the driver's seat for getting home field advantage all the way throughout the playoffs.
Let's turn it back to the present, focus on the upcoming games. Only three Big Sky games on the schedule this weekend. Let's start with Sacramento State at Idaho State. Who do you like in this one?
I tell you what, a very even matchup on paper when you look at it. Both teams averaging exactly 31 points per game. Both defenses allowing about 30 to 34 points per game. So it's going to come down to the intangibles. And I think these are two teams that are used to playing in tight games. I have a sense this will be another tight game in Pocatello. I'm going with the mini upset here. I think Idaho State beats Sacramento State at home.
Eastern Washington at Idaho. Idaho was able to hold off Cal Poly to move to 5-3 on the season. Eastern Washington hoping to improve to 500 in Big Sky Conference play. Eags or Vandals?
I'm going with the Vandals at home. This is a classic offense versus defense matchup, right? The offense of Eastern Washington in the top three in the league against the top three of Idaho. Who can control the line of scrimmage? And that's really where I like Idaho in this game. They can establish the run, get out to the lead. Eastern Washington, now they're a team you can't sleep on. They don't go away. They've shown that against Montana, against UC Davis in tight losses. Can't count them out. Mini rivalry matchup here, but I'm going to take the Vandals at home.
Finally, our game of the week, Montana heads down to Greeley to face the UNC Bears. Riley, Griz or Bears?
This is a great matchup when you look at Northern Colorado coming off a win. And it's not lost on the Grizzlies that last year when these two teams played, it was 7-0 in the final 2 minutes of the second quarter. Ed Lamb has great respect up here in Missoula for what he's done in his career. I just think their offense is too explosive right now. 41 points per game. I'll take the Griz and that explosive offense to get the road win.
Riley, thank you so much for taking the time to pick some games and talk Big Sky football with me.
Thanks, Megan.
Riley's going with the Griz, but can the UNC Bears make it two top 25 upsets in a row? We will have to see on Saturday. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. I will see you all next week.